Rates are starting to drop, so that's going to heat up some purchases and also some refinances.
Yeah, so we're getting more and more refinances right now with the rates dropping, especially for people who have bought over the past 12 or 24 months when we saw rates in the 7s and 8s. So what I've been doing for most of my clients when it works out is I first do an interview. I need to make sure that the refinance makes sense. Then I'll get a full application and I'll run all the info through an automated underwriting system. Now, what's really cool about this is depending on the data that the underwriting system has for the area where that home is located, you may not need an appraisal. Okay, that will save you time and money, anywhere from about $500 to $600. But more than anything, if I'm able to push that appraised value up and max it out, so to speak, that may
Waves of MI, right?
Right. That may negate the need for mortgage insurance. And that lower loan to value could give you a lower rate. So for example, I just closed some friends a week or so ago, helped them buy a couple years ago, rates have dropped, took their application, great credit score, great low debt to income ratio. They've been in the house for 2 years. And I ran it through the automated underwriting system. Initially, I used a value that was a little bit higher than what they bought it for. Then I started to push it. And I pushed it enough so that they had 80% in equity. I'm sorry, 80% loan to value, which was like 10% more than they had on a sizable loan. So no appraisal, no mortgage insurance, and we dropped their rate, saving them hundreds of dollars per month. What's really cool too is, let's say we close on a refinance at the beginning of February. You could potentially skip your current mortgage payment. If that mortgage is paid off before the due date, you skip the March payment, and then your first payment isn't due until April 1st. So you could potentially skip 2 months of mortgage payments. And once your old mortgage is paid and closed, you should or could get a check back for the remaining balance of your escrow account a few weeks after closing. So refinances are great. It costs nothing except a little bit of time to figure out if it's right for you.
You know, one of those things too, along with potentially, if you're doing 30-year to 30 years, sometimes if the gap's big enough, you can do a 30-year to a 20-year, and
Right.
the payment would be close, but saving, look, 10 years of payments at, $2,000 a month or whatever the number ends up being, 120 times 2,000 is a
Right.
lot
So
of dollars.
when I interview my clients, I ask them what their goals are. Is it to lower the payment? Is it to drop MI? Is it to lower the terms? Is it all of the above? So I will always tell my clients, if they do, if it does look good for a lower term, I will always go over those numbers with them just so they can see what it looks like. And I don't just talk about monthly payment. I talk about term to own, meaning how soon will that home be paid off? And what does the overall amortization table look like? Meaning, how much interest are you going to save if you do a lower term versus a 30-year term? So that's really big. And rate is important, but once you start lowering terms, that's when you can really gain momentum of gaining equity faster.
Much more equity. So it's not always just about lowering interest rates. Sometimes it could be, if it makes sense for your budget, you're able to pay it off faster, saving you potentially hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yeah. I've also been doing a lot of cash outs. So if people want to pay off or get out of HELOCs that have rates in the 9s and 10s, and they're paying interest only, I've been refinancing and cashing out with that. A lot of people just want to pay down debt in general, just bad debt, so to speak. Think credit cards, high balance accounts, accounts that have compound interest. So a lot of cash out refinances, because it will lower your overall monthly obligation and help you keep more money in your pocket on a monthly basis. And you'll get a low fixed rate.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So Tracy, if they have some questions, where can they find you?
337-257-9146.
We'll see you next week.